Today I have in the latest in the Q Timex line, the Q Timex 1982 in gold. Now, it's not too often I find myself wearing a gold or gold tone watch, but when I do, it is always fun. Now, Timex reached out a few weeks ago to see if I wanted to put together a video on this watch. I'm a little late to the party. I picked up a bug, lost my voice almost completely for the better part of a week, but we're finally here. Now, this was given to the channel, but like always, the company has no say when it comes to the content of today's video. So let's get to it and check out the watch. All right, now, so yeah, these came out a few weeks ago in two color options, this gold and the stainless steel with a black dial, which also looks really cool. I've always been a big fan of vintage Ana-Digi watches, so I was excited to get the chance to get this in. I will say there is one teeny bit of an issue for me with it, but otherwise really enjoying the watch. One thing that struck me when I first got it, and I actually had filmed an unboxing video and mentioned this, but my voice was just a little too rough to post that. But I was surprised by the weighty feel of the bracelet. Sometimes these vintage style bracelets feel kind of lightweight and a little on the cheap side, but this has some heft to it in a good way. The dial is pretty straightforward. It's divided into two sections, the digital display at the top and the analog at the bottom recessed part of the dial. I like that they have that detail there too versus just a flat dial. Up at the 12 is the Q logo, which I think looks really nice. It's in gold. It's also in gold, I believe, on the black dial version of the watch. There's applied hour markers at the 3, 6, and 9 o'clock, and the rest, including the minute markers, are printed in black. The hour and minute hands are also black, so there's good contrast against the champagne dial to get the time. The second hand, though, is in gold, matching the applied markers. Now, there is loom on the applied markers. It doesn't do us much good with no loom on the hands, and it's not all that bright to begin with, but this style of watch for me, loom isn't really necessary, so not a major thing. Up top is the digital display. You can set the time here independently of the analog time, which you set normally with the crown. Because of that, you can use the watch to track two time zones. The small pusher by the crown here on the right gets you to the different functions. And next up, give it a push here, is the alarm. After that, stopwatch. One more, and we have the month, date, and day, and then back to our time. So pretty simple module, but it's got the bases covered. The case is made with stainless steel. It's brushed on the top with polished sides. I mentioned one teeny bit of an issue with it for me, and that is the teeny crown. It's sized right looks-wise, but I find it a little tough to pull out and grip to set the time. It's quartz, so it's not something you really need to do all that often, but it is, at least for my fingers, a bit tricky. The case back is screwed to the case at the four corners. Nothing too fancy happening here, but overall, good looking case design. The finish work is pretty good considering the cost of the watch as well. The bracelet, first of all, looks cool. Even the back side of it, that would be a neat look for a bracelet too if it was flipped around like this. Like I said, it's got a good weight to it. It tapers down to 16.7 millimeters at the clasp. The clasp is almost infinitely adjustable. I'm sure most of you guys will have sized these, but you just open this little spot here where there's that hole with a small screwdriver. Pop it open and you can slide this anywhere along the bracelet to get a good fit. Size on the watch comes in at a case width of 32.8 millimeters, but don't let that fool you. Rectangular watches like this always wear bigger than the case width would suggest. The lug to lug is 40.7 millimeters and the thickness is 8.7 millimeters, so it's quite a slender watch. Not that you would want to swap straps likely, but the lug opening is 16 millimeters. Water resistance is 30 meters, and the crystal is a mineral crystal. And here it is, this nice little slice of the 80s on my 7.25-inch wrist. Very cool watch. These are just fun. Price is $179 USD in steel and $189 for the gold. Timex keeps coming out with these reissues, and I say keep them coming. One watch I'd love to see them bring back is the Timex Black Max. I did a video on that a few years ago and would love to see them do that one. I know the folks over at Timex will be checking this out, so let them know in the comments below which vintage Timex would you like to see them do next. I'd love to hear. Thanks for taking a few minutes to stop by, and we'll see you real soon. Bye-bye.